Hey guys, what's up? I have not been on here in a hot second. Life has been absolutely hectic and I actually have time to sit down and film a video again. So it's nice, and it's nice to be back. That said, I'm literally dusting off my journals and my planner because, like I said, it's been sitting, and I just wanted to hop on today to kind of talk about my 2026 setup for my quote-unquote ecosystem and what I am most likely gonna do. Like as far as the things I'm gonna use, the planners, the journals, the covers, all that fun stuff. So first off, you can kind of tell that the setup is different already from last time, and if you follow me on social media like TikTok or Instagram, you'll definitely know that I have switched out from the Holborn compact and gotten into my Malden. This is the special edition charcoal with the gold stitching and the gold hardware, and I am probably gonna redo the innards of this or add more inserts, just because I literally just took everything from the Holborn and kind of propped it in here, and I don't know, I just want it to be chunkier. Kind of like how my Finsbury was set up. So nothing's changed. Like I said, literally just took the guts of the Holborn and put it in here. So I'll probably make a separate video on that if you're interested, but I mean, my setup is always the same. The guts are always the same. It's literally just reprinting and kind of like rearranging the tabs, if you will. This one, however, my writer's journal, it's definitely different from the last time. As you can see, it's super chunky, which I love, and I think I'm gonna keep it like this. I'm not too sure. I'm already looking at the strings and it looks like they're struggling, at least with the first book, which I'm going to show you in a second. But if anybody has recommendations on how to restring these so that it doesn't look like I'm about to snap them, then feel free to let me know below in the comments. But yeah, let's just dive right in. So this is most likely going to be my setup in this writer's notebook. Still gonna use the Travelers Company cover in black. I've been itching to get a new one, particularly the Love and Trip, but I just cannot justify spending almost double, sometimes double, honestly sometimes even triple the amount of what the cover did cost when it was available. I'm not too sure if they're gonna have a restock. I haven't heard anything. I really hope they do, because I'm not in the I really don't want to pay $100, $120, $150 for the red cover. I saw it, I didn't think I needed it, but I don't know, I just, red and green are for some reason like my colors at the moment, and sounds very Christmassy, but like this red, the bright like almost red orange red, I have always loved. So I really like this one. And then if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you already know that I did purchase a Hobonichi Weeks, the mega size, because so this is pretty much going to be my plan B planner. So I already know that I'm going to go into 2026 with my Filofax Personal. it's not an if and or but. You know, I've tried pocket. I might try pocket again. We'll see, but personal is just like my sweet spot, so I really don't want to mess that up. So definitely going into 2026 with a Filofax as my main planner, but I know myself well enough to where I need to have a backup. And I wasn't originally going to buy a Hobonichi for the upcoming year, you know, with all the fun tariffs and extra custom requirements and pricing and whatever, all the fun stuff. But when I actually looked and found that the prices were, to me, relatively reasonable, especially because I got it off of Amazon. I know, like, we're kind of trying to boycott Amazon, but it's just convenient. And I was kind of late on the Jet Pens and the Yoseka websites, so Amazon it was, and I'm not mad about it. You know, like, it is what it is. It got me what I needed. So this Hobonichi Weeks Mega is going to be my plan B. So technically it's, well, I'm going to set it up to where it has all my trackers in the back, whatever I have in my Filofax. You know, like, I have my home tracker, my health tracker, you know, like my health log, the kids' health log, the kids' schedules, my home chores and whatnot, you know, plant, shop, yada, yada, yada. I'm basically going to format it and put it in the back of my Hobonichi Weeks, and I have not touched this thing yet. You know, I haven't written in it. I haven't even glanced in it. I did buy a Hobonichi 2 years ago. Yeah, I think for 2024. Well, I bought like several, but I just tried to make it work and it never did. I kind of want to do that again, especially because I have an established system that works for me, and I know it works for me, and I know for a fact that I can transfer what's in my Filofax into my weeks. So that said, it is going to be my plan B planner. You know, whenever I get tired of rings and I just want to move to a bound book and I just want to be able to carry everything together, like you see here, you know, in my Traveler's Company, my Traveler's Notebook, Hobonichi Weeks it is. And I kind of had a dilemma because I ordered initially the Toe Light Weeks. I forgot, A Bright Year. I think that's what it's called. But the Toe Light Weeks, where it's like a red cover with the tulips, and that was initially going to be my choice because of the red. However, if you know me, I am not a pink person. I told myself I wasn't a green person, but I prefer green over pink, so that's where we landed. The antique green is actually really nice. It reminds me of like a mossy or a forest green, so it's definitely more earthy, more rustic, more natural compared to the bright red and the pink from the Toe Light Weeks. And I wanted a cover or a color that matched the, what is this called? Iyo Okumi pencil board. I've never bought a pencil board for my Hobonichi Weeks, but this one was just way too pretty to pass up, so that's where we're at. And it, you know, like matches the cover really nicely. I was thinking peony because it was pretty much like identical to this purple pinkish color, but again, like, it was just too reminiscent of pink, so I didn't go with it. So plan B planner, and I'm just keeping it in here for, you know, organization's sake, but I will probably take it out and, you know, just leave it as leave it standing by itself. The innards of the traveler's notebook are kind of the same, so I kept my word of the day. I still do it, although I haven't been as consistent as I would like, but I still write it in. You know, I try to, like, whenever I'm in this planner or this notebook. And then, of course, my personal journal. I'm already halfway through this insert, and I probably need to order a new one soon, but it's filling up really nicely, and I'm really proud of myself for being somewhat consistent on the journaling. So there's that. This one, you may or may not have seen. It's been in my system. I've never attempted to put it in here because of like the size difference, but I've been seeing a lot of people, especially like with their Paper Republics and their Louise Carmens, put like differing sizes of notebooks and stuff inside their leather covers, and I don't know, I just wanted to try it out for myself, and I kind of like it. I think the only issue is, you know, like the slack of the strings. I kind of have to fiddle with that a little bit, especially considering like where the placement of everything is, but so far it's not terrible. And I like I said, I do like how the differing sizes work together. It makes it really nice. So this is, if you don't know, this is just a Midori notebook in B6 slim size, and it fits perfectly alongside the regular traveler's notebook inserts. But this is kind of just my brain dump book. Literally has anything and everything, doesn't matter what I'm thinking, and if it has to do with something particular, like everything just goes in here. I have my passport, which is basically my everyday carry, and it lives in my purse if I can find it. Jesus. So everybody knows this is my everyday carry, and it's going to remain my everyday carry. It's, you know, wearing very nicely. Like you can literally see all the scratches, and it's not really patina-ing yet, just because, like I said, it remains in my bag, and I really only throw it in, throw it out, so there's not too many smooth, shiny parts besides, you know, like all the scratches and stuff from the charm and my clip and whatever. But everybody knows this is my everyday carry, and it has my brain dump book. So this essentially is just a bigger format. You know, like I don't copy and paste, and I don't put what's in here in there and what's in there in here. It's just wherever it is, it lands. And if it's important, you know, like I'll mark it with a page flag or something, you know, like just title it just so I know what's in there. But I really like the Midori MD notebooks, especially for the paper and how the fountain pens write. So I'm gonna keep this in here, and I don't think I'm gonna take it out because, like I said, it's fit in really nicely with the system, and I don't have an issue with writing in it, especially with like the size difference. There's no issue at all. And then this last one is still my drafts for personal columns, or, you know, like blog posts, I guess you would call them. My Substack stuff that I still need to type up and publish. I haven't gotten very far. I've maybe wrote like 2, 3 at the very most. But like I said, I haven't had a lot of time. Life has been hectic, and you know, that's just how it goes. So I hope to be using this a lot more, but I definitely have a lot of space to use it for the rest of this year and possibly continue into next year. So yeah, that's exciting. And that's kind of what the writer's notebook looks like at the moment. Again, it's super chunky. I love it. If I end up carrying this around, like I said, I'll probably end up taking out the Hobonichi weeks, especially when I'm not using it, because it's a plan B, and especially if I'm going to be carrying around my Filofax, I definitely won't need it. So yeah, you know, like that's the joy of using a traveler's notebook system, is you can just take out whatever insert you don't need and, you know, put it back in when you do need it. So that's that. And then the Filofax, and then of course I'm going to be keeping my everyday carry. It's just so convenient. You know, I might have to change out this brain dump book in a couple months. I have maybe like this much left, you know, but like that's nothing. I'll literally go through that in, you know, for the rest of the year, which would be nice, because if I can time it around, you know, putting a new notebook in for the new year, that means I'm pretty much set for the rest of the year. So nothing's changed in here, and I probably won't change anything for 2026. You know, I'll still have like this inbox to-do list right here that barely gets used because I'm always like writing everything else down in my Filofax. But I probably most likely won't be changing the innards of this one. It's just like, I like how it's set up. It's very no nonsense, you know, just grab and go, throw it in my purse, and it's simple. You know, I don't need this to be fancy by any means. I don't need it to be aesthetically pleasing. I don't need it to be, you know, high functioning, if you will. That's what my Filofax is for. This is literally just to write things on the go, to entertain my children when they cannot keep still and we're out trying to eat dinner or lunch or something. You know, like, that's its purpose, and I'm gonna leave it like that. So yeah, that is pretty much my plans for 2026 as far as planners and journals go. I don't think I'm gonna be adding anything. Actually, I take that back. I found a Paper Republic Grand Voyager XL on Poshmark. And I ended up buying it just because I've been wanting to try out Paper Republic, and, you know, like, it was a fraction of the cost, compared to, like, what I would have to pay if I ordered from the website, and it was practically brand new. Like, there's no markings on it, so I bit the bullet. I paid the money. You know what? Worst case scenario, I can just get rid of it. Or not get rid of it, Jesus, that sounds terrible, but, you know, like, resell it, rehome it, like I usually do with all of my covers. You know, so I'm not fully committed to it yet, because I've tried A5, I've tried an A5 sized planner, I've tried an A5 sized journal, and, you know, like, right here, this is actually what got me into, okay, let me move to the side, because this is a big chunky. This is what got me into the Midori MD paper and notebooks in the first place. This is the Codex, and I can't remember who I saw using this as a journal, but I was like, you know what, let me try it, because I had a cousin in 2024 when I bought my first Hobonichis. I literally bought all of them. I bought like all of the models, I guess you could call them. I bought the weeks, I bought the mega weeks, I bought the Techo, I bought the regular A6, what's it called, Arts and Science planner, and I got the cousin just to try it out, because that was literally like my first year of trying Hobonichi, and I whittled it down. I figured that A5, the cousin, was a lot, and I was working a job, you know, and I was, you know, like, upkeeping the house as usual, but I just didn't need all that extra space. And especially for like the weekly layout, you know, how it's like in columns and it has the timeline or the time of day, I didn't really need that, you know. I mean, my planning is pretty simplistic. I don't need times, and when I do have times, you know, like for appointments or something like that, it's literally just like one line, you know, and I don't need it for every day. So cousin didn't work. And that said, the A5 size didn't work for me. It was just too much space, you know, like the A5 size, like I'm looking at it right now, it really doesn't look like a lot of space. But for me, for whatever reason, I think it was just intimidating and daunting. Like, as you can see, like 90% of this journal is empty. You know, like I tried writing in it, and I probably will, you know, like I'll try writing in it again. But like, that's literally all the pages I wrote in, this much, you know, and I'm gonna try the A5 size again with the Paper Republic, but I know that it's not a true A5, so like obviously I cannot, well, I can put this in the cover, but it's probably gonna jet out, or it's gonna take up all of the real estate space for the cover, and it's probably gonna end up sticking out if I put more inserts into, you know, the Grand Voyager XL cover. So I probably won't use this. This is gonna stay on my desk until I have the courage to use it again, or maybe I'll find like another use for it. Maybe I'll turn it into like a recipe book or something. But yeah, this thing is practically brand spanking new, and I want to be someone who can use the A5 size, but I don't know if I ever will be. I'm hoping that I can somehow figure out how to use my XL cover in a practical way. You know, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about like their personal curriculums and their academic journals or their academic notebooks, and I've always had one, but you know, I feel like I can incorporate it into this system already. You know, like I can probably replace like my word of the day with it, or you know, my draft for my Substack and whatever with another insert specifically for my quote-unquote personal curriculum. So it's not something that I'm really committing myself to yet. You know, am I hoping that I can use my Grand Voyager XL? Yes, because it's beautiful and I really want to make it work, but also I don't want to have to force myself to use it, or I don't want to feel like it's a chore to have to open it up almost every single day and write something in it. Obviously, like it's my journal, and you know, I can use it however I want, and I can tweak it and I can rearrange it like I do with, you know, all of these planners and all of these journals. However, I already have 3. Technically, I have 4 because of my plan B, but you know, like I'm counting this one and my Filofax as one. But I already have 3 setups. You know, I have one on the go. I have one that kind of stays at home. I can bring with me if I need to. And then I have my writing system. So I'm not particularly setting up any expectations for my Grand Voyager XL cover. Really, it's kind of just an experiment to see how I feel and where I land as far as using a bigger format compared to my traveler's notebook. You know, like it's basically going to be a little bit wider than this. You know, that's what I'm thinking. And I know it's not, again, I know it's not a perfect A5 size. So, you know, even on my little A5 notebooks, I could probably fit in there, probably won't. I've seen and I've done a lot of research on like what kind of notebooks I can put in there. So we'll see. I'll definitely do a setup, and I'll probably do like a first impressions and a walkthrough. And, you know, if I use it for at least a month, I'll probably sit down and film another video on that again, just to see, or just to express my thoughts on it. But like I said, I'm not putting up any hard expectations for the cover, because I'm already happy with this ecosystem, quote unquote ecosystem that I have. It works fine. you know, I can change covers as I need to, I can rearrange things as I need to, and for the most part, the guts on all of these, in all of these, stay the same. So yeah, I'm happy where I'm at, and I think that's what's gonna happen for 2026. You know, I'm making it sound like my curveball is my XL cover, but you know, we'll see. Again, I'm not, you know, holding myself accountable, and I'm not going to force myself to use it if it doesn't work for me. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, you know, I will probably be doing an in-depth setup for my 2026 planner systems and my journal system if I have to replace something, for sure. But for my Filofax and my Hobonichi, you know, like when I do format it, probably closer to like Thanksgiving time, I'll definitely make videos of that. That way you guys can see how I use it in tandem, or not necessarily in tandem because, you know, it's a plan B, but how I use it interchangeably, I suppose that would be the word. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And if you guys have any questions, or if you have any recommendations, like I said, on fixing my strings, because I mean, I'm sure that's kind of just normal considering, you know, the size difference. But if you have any suggestions, you know, it wouldn't hurt to leave your suggestions down below. I'll definitely take them into consideration or try them out, you know. This isn't my first rodeo with Traveler's Company, or the Traveler's Notebook System, I should say. I had a Chic Sparrow cover several years ago, like when I was first in college, and you know, like I just forgot like all the tricks for the strings, so it's holding. That's the important part. I'm not really dying to redo it. It's just like when I see it, it's like, okay, I probably need to put another one there just in case it snaps. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.